I walked into my bedroom and saw it, a glass of water on the nightstand, placed there by past me, exactly where it needed to be. In film, continuity ensures that if a glass is full in the wide shot, it's still full in the close-up. It prevents confusion. In life, continuity is just self-care on a timeline. It's past me washing the favorite mug so future me can use it. It's folding the blanket so the next scene, nap time, flows smoothly. When I disrupt continuity, like leaving my keys in the fridge, the movie of my life becomes a jarring, avant-garde nightmare. But when I maintain it, it's a seamless glide. I drank the water. Thanks for the continuity check, I whispered to the me from 2 hours ago. Good looking out. I caught a glimpse of myself in the hallway mirror. I looked grumpy, resting grump face. But then I applied the cool shove effect. This film theory says that the meaning of a face changes based on what image comes next. Image A, my grumpy face. Image B, a tax form. Result, I look frustrated and intelligent. Image A, my grumpy face. Image B, an empty plate. Result, I look tragically hungry. I realized I wasn't actually grumpy, I was just unedited. I decided to walk into the kitchen and stand next to a potted plant. Now, next to the greenery, my expression looked pensive and earthy. Context is everything. I am not sad, I am just waiting for my next cut. I walked down the street feeling self-conscious. Is my hair weird? Am I walking funny? I felt the weight of the world's eyes on me. I was the subject. Cut, I said. Reverse angle. I decided to shift the gaze. Instead of worrying about being watched, I became the watcher. I looked at the way the light hit the brickwork. I looked at a dog wearing a raincoat. I looked at the clouds. Suddenly, the power dynamic flipped. I wasn't a specimen being examined. I was the camera. I was the one with the perspective that mattered. The world became a show put on for my enjoyment, rather than a panel of judges rating my walk. I adjusted my lens and enjoyed the view. I poured cereal into a bowl. I missed the bowl. Milk went everywhere. In a drama, I would cry. In a tragedy, I would scream. Instead, I looked directly into the air, right where the camera would be if my life were a sitcom, and deadpanned. I raised an eyebrow at the invisible audience. Can you believe this guy? My face said to the universe. Acknowledging the absurdity of the moment made it funny instead of sad. It invited the cosmos in on the joke. I felt a moment of connection, as if a million invisible viewers were chuckling with me, saying, "We've been there, buddy." I wiped up the milk, still smiling. We're all in on the bit. The sun went down. The house was quiet. I didn't say a word. I sat in the armchair, mise en scène. The lamp cast a warm glow, color temperature. The cat slept beside me, motif. The steam rose from my tea, detail shot. I realized I didn't need dialogue to explain how I felt. The image spoke for itself. It was a story of peace. It was a story of surviving the day and finding the soft landing. Life isn't about the script, the arguments, the emails, the to-do lists. It's about the images we collect, the way the light hits the floor, the smile of a friend, the steam of the tea. I closed my eyes. The internal projector kept running, playing back a highlight reel of small, beautiful moments. It's a good movie. I think I'll keep watching. I spotted a stray croissant on the far side of the kitchen counter. It was lonely. It needed attention. I didn't walk over there. That takes leg muscles. Instead, I twisted my lens barrel firmly to the right. Suddenly, the croissant was huge. It filled the frame, golden and flaky. The zoom magnifies like a grandma pinching cheeks, affectionate, if slightly surprising. It grabs the subject and says, You are adorable. Get in here." I felt a rush of affection for the pastry. Zooming is a way of skipping the small talk and getting right to the intimacy. "I see you," I whispered to the croissant, "and I'm coming for you." My dog, Barnaby, was asleep in a sunbeam. If I moved a muscle, he would wake up and demand a treat. I engaged the servo motor on the lens. It was imperceptible. The frame crept forward, millimeter by millimeter. It tiptoed closer so softly it could lull a kitten, or a Barnaby, to sleep. I watched the monitor for 5 minutes as the frame slowly cropped out the rug, then the pause, until it was just the gentle rise and fall of his fuzzy ribcage. It was the visual equivalent of a meditative breath. Watching a slow zoom is hypnotic. It forces your heart rate to sync with the camera motor. By the time the zoom ended, I was nearly asleep too. I was staring out the window at the rain. The droplets on the glass were sharp. The world outside was a grey blur. It matched my mood, a bit rainy, a bit blurry. Then I decided to change my outlook. I grabbed the focus ring. I shifted the clarity from the cold, wet glass to the steaming mug of tea sitting on the sill just inches away. The rain melted into soft bouquet. The tea became sharp, warm, and inviting. It was a gentle shift of clarity, like adjusting your glasses with a smile. I realized I have the power to choose what is sharp in my life. I can focus on the storm, or I can focus on the Earl Grey. I chose the tea. The lens approved. I stared at the round wall clock. It was 9:00 a.m., a perfect white circle. I blinked, a perfect white plate sitting on the table, exactly where the clock had been in the frame. It's the cinematic handshake connecting two shots politely. Using similar shapes to transition scenes makes life feel incredibly cohesive. One moment it's time, the next moment it's pancakes. I smiled at the visual rhyme. It made my morning feel like a well-structured montage rather than a series of clumsy events. If you look for the patterns, the circles, the squares, the lines, your day flows like a visual poem, and this poem tasted like syrup. I had 10 minutes to get ready. In real time, this is panic. In cinema time, this is an opportunity for style. I decided to live in jump cuts. Me brushing teeth, me pulling on a sock, coffee pouring, me walking out the door with sunglasses. The jump cut skips ahead like an excited puppy that couldn't wait for the next beat. It deletes the boring parts, the hunting for the other sock, the waiting for the kettle. By editing my morning in my head, I didn't feel rushed, I felt energetic. I skipped the transitions and got straight to the action. I am efficient. I am stylistic, I am wearing mismatched socks, but it's a continuity error we can ignore. I sat on my couch, alone, but I knew I wasn't really alone. I imagined a split screen, me checking my watch, a pizza oven, miles away, bubbling with cheese, two stories holding hands in editing. The editor cuts back and forth. Me sighing, pizza going into box. Me getting up, pizza car starting. It reminded me that we are never truly isolated. Somewhere, right now, a pizza is on a hero's journey to find me. Our destinies are intertwined. The cross-cut builds suspense, hope, and eventually dinner. I sat back, comforted by the knowledge that while I wait here, the universe and the delivery driver is working on my behalf. I've been drilling into the concepts of documentary style, surrealism, minimalism, and maximalism. My focus is now on how these styles could be adapted into a soft novel format written in the first person. I'm exploring the unique ways each aesthetic can be conveyed and how to create a good blend of styles for this project. I'm now zeroing in on integrating a documentary style into the narrative using the I voice. I'm leaning toward a mockumentary feel like The Office, which highlights everyday struggles, which is where the humor stems from. It could be about assembling a taco. I'm also planning to incorporate a mirror interview, adding a layer of detachment to the writing. I'm now integrating surrealism and minimalism. For the surrealism, I'm developing a melting clock dream sequence, a lazy Sunday morning where logic dissolves and mundane household events become bizarre. On the minimalist side, I'm leaning toward a scene of quiet decluttering and simple meals, with the humor stemming from a deliberate lack of effort presented as artistic choice. I'm exploring how these styles can coexist in the narrative. I'm now incorporating maximalism. I'm imagining a nest scene, blankets, snacks, books, and cats, a visual explosion of joy. The humor will come from embracing the mess, like the everything bagel of lifestyles. I'm crafting this idea of being surrounded by stuff as a hug made of objects. I'm now focusing on smoothing out the transitions between styles. I'm softening the surrealism, avoiding any unsettling tones. A cat on the ceiling should elicit chuckles, not fear. I'm also ensuring the maximalism doesn't clash with the minimalism, highlighting the versatility of my cinematographer character. I dropped a jar of pickles. It didn't break, but it rolled under the fridge. Instead of cursing, I decided to switch genres. I adopted a shaky handheld camera style. I zoomed in abruptly on my own confused face in the microwave reflection. The subject, I narrated in a hushed, serious whisper, is now attempting the retrieval. The stakes are high, the dust bunnies are aggressive. Documentary style takes the fiction of my competence and grounds it in the gritty reality of my clumsiness. I conducted a confessional interview with myself in the bathroom mirror later. Honestly, I told the glass, I didn't think I could reach the jar, but the human spirit is resilient. Treating my life like a profound BBC docuseries makes the mundane feel important. The pickle jar was retrieved. The crowd, my cat, went wild. It was a triumph of the human condition. I took a nap, a long one. When I woke up, the world made no sense. The clock said Tuesday, but the sun said Sunday. My left arm was asleep and felt like it belonged to a stranger. The cat was sitting on the lampshade. Ah, I mumbled. Surrealism. Instead of panicking and trying to find logic, I floated in the weirdness. I accepted that for the next 20 minutes, time was melting like a Dali clock. I imagined my coffee mug had fur. I imagined the ceiling fan was a giant flower. Surrealism frees the mind from the boring constraints of physics and appointments. It invites you to play in the dreamscape. I lay there, enjoying the illogical absurdity of existing, feeling like a character in a weird, artsy short film where nothing happens but everything means something. My desk was a disaster. My brain was a browser with 400 tabs open. I needed a reset. I cleared the table. I removed the papers, the pens, the half-empty mugs. I left exactly one object, a single, perfect red apple. I sat down and stared at it. Minimalism. This is the plot, I told myself. The apple is the protagonist. I am the audience. That is all. It was visually quiet. My brain stopped buzzing. In a minimalist frame, there is nowhere for the eye to wander, so the mind settles down. I appreciated the curve of the fruit. I appreciated the empty space around it. I felt sophisticated and zen, proving that you don't need $1 million to tell a story. You just need to clear off your table and stare at produce. I sat down to work, but my brain felt like a bowl of spaghetti. I couldn't articulate the confusion. Then I looked at my desk. There, sitting in a mocking heap, was my pair of wired headphones. They were knotted in ways that defied physics. I stared at the knot. Visual metaphor. I didn't need to write in my journal, I feel complicated today. The headphones were doing the acting for me. I picked them up. I spent 10 minutes gently passing the left earbud through the loop of the right earbud. Slowly, the knot loosened. As the cable straightened out, I felt my own thoughts untangling. By the time the cord was a straight line, my anxiety had smoothed out too. Sometimes you just need an object to represent your struggle so you can physically fix it. The headphones are now untangled. My brain is pending, but we're getting there. I noticed a recurring theme in my day. A yellow square. You look fine. A yellow square. Eat a vegetable, please. A yellow square. Breathe. A motif is a visual thread that stitches a movie together. Today, my motif was the humble yellow sticky note. It was a recurring symbol of past me looking out for present me. Seeing that splash of yellow appearing in different scenes gave the day a sense of structure. It wasn't just a random Tuesday. It was the day of the yellow squares. It reminded me that even when life feels disjointed, there is a pattern of care running through it, usually written in Sharpie. I sat across the table from my roommate. "Do you want the last cookie?" she asked. "No, I'm good," I said, but I didn't look at her. I looked at the cookie. My eyes traced the chocolate chips. My hand twitched slightly toward the plate. I swallowed audibly. The text was no. The subtext was, "If you eat that, I will perish from sorrow." Cinema is built on subtext, on the gap between what characters say and what they mean. Recognizing this in real life is hilarious. We are all just bad actors trying to be polite. My roommate, a scholar of cinema, read the subtext perfectly. She broke the cookie in half. We ate in silence. It was a scene rich with unspoken understanding. The morning started like an action movie. Cut to alarm, cut to shower, cut to spilling coffee, cut to running for the bus. The pacing was frantic. My heart was editing at 100 cuts per minute. "Whoa," I told the editor in my head, "slow the rhythm down. We are not making the Bourne Identity." I forced a scene change. I sat on a bench. I stared at a pigeon for a full minute without blinking. I walked slower. I let the shots breathe. By controlling the pacing of my movements, I controlled the genre of my day. It shifted from an anxiety thriller to a slow burn indie drama about a person enjoying the breeze. The audience, my blood pressure, was much happier with the new rhythm. I wanted to read a book. I could have just sat on the floor. But no, I am a director. I care about the mise en scène. I pronounced it mise en scène out loud, feeling fancy. It means placing on stage. It's the arrangement of everything in the frame to create a vibe. I draped the blanket just so. I placed the tea mug in the foreground. I lit a candle in the background. I put on my reading socks. Was it necessary? No. Did it make me feel like the main character in a cozy Hallmark movie? Absolutely. Curating your environment isn't shallow, it's setting the stage for the feelings you want to have. I sat in my perfectly designed set, opened my book, and felt incredibly professional about my relaxation. The vibe was immaculate. I walked down to the corner store. I wasn't wearing makeup, I was wearing sweatpants that have seen better decades. I looked around and thought, this is the set. I watched the cashier, a man named Stan, slowly counting out change. I watched a lady arguing with a cantaloupe. It wasn't glamorous, but it was profoundly real. There was a deep, quiet dignity in the way Stan carefully bagged my eggs. I realized I don't need to be a polished superhero in a Marvel movie. I can just be a person buying eggs in a neo-realist masterpiece. My struggles, like trying to open the produce bag with dry fingers, are valid plot points. I walked home feeling incredibly grounded, honoring the epic poetry of my very ordinary Tuesday. I felt chaotic. I started cleaning the kitchen, then I started dancing to 60s pop, then I ate a pickle, then I wrote a poem on a napkin. I am so scattered, I worried. No, my inner director corrected. You are French New Wave. This style is all about breaking the rules. It loves the jump cut, where time skips forward jarringly. One moment I was washing a dish, jump, now I'm reading a magazine on the floor, jump, now I'm wearing sunglasses indoors. It's not ADHD, it's style, darling. It's the freedom of spontaneity. I decided to embrace the choppy edit of my afternoon. I ran down the hallway for no reason. I looked directly into the bathroom mirror and winked, breaking the fourth wall. Life doesn't have to be a smooth, linear narrative. Sometimes it's just a series of cool, disjointed vibes, and that is very chic. I was overwhelmed by choices. What to watch, what to eat, what filter to use. I decided to issue a vow of chastity, inspired by the Dogma 95 movement. Rule 1, shooting must be done on location, my couch. Rule 2, the sound must never be produced apart from the images. No music, just the sound of me chewing. Rule 3, handheld camera only, my own 2 eyes. Rule 4, no superficial action. I will not move unless necessary. It was liberating. Without the pressure to add special effects to my day, like fancy lighting or background music, I just existed. The constraints set me free. I watched the dust motes float in the natural light. It was a masterpiece of minimalism. Who knew that doing absolutely nothing with strict adherence to rules could feel so productive? I sat on a park bench. I wasn't waiting for anyone. I was just recording reality. Cinema verite means truthful cinema. It's about capturing life as it happens, without interference. I watched a pigeon trip over its own feet. I watched a businessman drop his briefcase, sigh, and then laugh at himself. I watched a toddler discover that grass is ticklish. I didn't try to direct them. I didn't shout, "Cut! Pigeon! Do it again with more emotion." I just let the truth unfold. It was a relief to resign from the job of general manager of the universe. The world spins just fine without my direction. I sat there, a respectful observer, realizing that the unscripted blooper reel of humanity is actually the best movie in town. The pigeon looked at me, I looked at the pigeon. We shared a moment of absolute truth. I took the tripod out to the vegetable garden, my current environment. The kale is taller than me, and the sunflowers are judging my posture. Seeing myself like this was surprisingly grounding. The wide shot whispered, "You are not the center of the universe. You are just a fellow organism in a very green ecosystem." It took the pressure off. I didn't have to be a protagonist with a complex arc. I just had to be a part of the scenery, like a garden gnome with a slightly better credit score. I stood there, letting the environment hold me, feeling comfortably small in a world that is comfortably big. Back inside, I decided to film a full shot. This is rare territory. Usually I exist on Zoom, which means I am a floating head with no legs. I tilted the camera down. There I was, messy bun at the top, dinosaur patterned socks at the bottom. The full shot is an exercise in radical honesty. It says, here is the human in their entirety, no hiding the pajama pants. I did a little spin. I looked human, not a curated portrait, but a whole, slightly uncoordinated person taking up space. It felt good to acknowledge that my feet exist and are currently supporting the rest of the operation. Good job, feet, I told them. They didn't answer, but they looked cozy in the dinos. I moved the camera closer, waist up, The medium shot. This feels like home. This is the distance where you stand when you're telling a friend a story about a squirrel you saw. I hit record and just started talking about my day. The framing felt safe, close enough to see my smile, but far enough away that nobody noticed I was fidgeting with a pen off screen. The medium shot is the let's chat of cinematography. It's polite, it respects boundaries, it's the visual equivalent of a warm handshake and a how have you been? I found myself relaxing, my shoulders dropping. We weren't doing deep soul work yet, we were just vibing. It was nice. We should do this more often. I stepped forward, the lens filled with my face, just the shoulders and head. The background disappeared. The dinosaur socks were a distant memory. A close-up demands honesty. You can't hide in the scenery. I looked into the lens and tried to convey a deep thought. Instead, I just sighed and said, I really hope that sourdough rises. But in a close-up, even a comment about bread feels like Shakespearean drama. The camera leaned in, listening. It felt intimate, like telling a secret under a blanket fort. I realized that giving myself a close-up was a way of saying, hey, listen, your feelings and your yeast concerns matter. I blinked, and the camera caught every bit of that vulnerability. I wasn't done. I leaned in until the lens was practically fogging up from my breath. The monitor showed only my left eye and the bridge of my nose. It was abstract art. The flecks of color in my iris looked like a topographical map of a distant planet. The tiny crinkles at the corner of my eye looked like well-worn riverbeds carved by laughter and squinting at spreadsheets. At this proximity, emotions are too big to be named. It wasn't me anymore. It was just texture. It was raw and beautiful and a little weird. You are a galaxy, I whispered to the monitor. Then I blinked, and the galaxy vanished behind an eyelid curtain. I backed away slowly, reminding myself that while it's nice to visit the microscopic level of the soul, it's probably healthier to live in the medium shot where the snacks are.